A very good morning to all the students. I hope every one of you is fine and in your best health. So we were doing chapter number 9, that is heredity, and in this in our last lecture we have covered the topic of dihybrid inheritance and the explanation of the result along with the Punnett square. So first, before starting the topic, how do these traits are expressed, we will move on to the our homework from the last week. So some of the students are having problem in the question number 3, that is, what do the progeny of a tall plant with round seeds and a short plant with wrinkled seeds look like and why? So the answer for this, first I'll explain the question. That means, what do the progeny means the offsprings of a tall plant. So the tall plant, the tallness is a dominant trait with a round seed, and round is shape is also dominant trait. So when there is dominant trait, so obviously for the first generation, the short plant and the wrinkle seeds, that is the short dwarf trait and the wrinkle trait, is in the recessive form, so they will not be seen. Only the plants, the progeny of a tall plant having a round seed are crossed with the short plants having wrinkled and small short plants will all be tall plants having round seeds, because the tallness and round shape is the dominant trait. So how I will explain you by this cross. So let's say the parental phenotype. Okay, so here is plant having tall and round seed, and the other is having short and wrinkled. Okay, so they are crossed. So for tall I'll write T here and T here, and for round I'll write R and R. Okay, so this is these are the first the factors of inheritance, and for these factors of inheritance will be small t, and small r and small r. Okay, so now what will be the gamete formation? So the gametes formation will be from this will deal with this, and this with this. So it will be T and R, tall and round, tall and round. So now here it will be tall and round, small t and R, and small t and R. Okay, so these are the gametes. Now when these gametes will fuse, they will be the fusion of gametes, so it will be like this will fuse first with this. Okay, so it will be capital T, small t, capital R and small r. Then it will fuse with this. It will again be capital T, small t, capital R, small r. Now this will fuse with this, capital T, small t, capital R, small r, and then it will fuse with this, capital T, small t, capital R, small r. So now we can see that all the progenies will be having a dominant trait which is capital T, and a dominant trait which is round. So every progeny will be of tall and round. Okay, so every one will be same. So there will be all the plants will be tall and the question was tall plant with round seeds. So all the generation, the first progeny will be of tall plants and round seeds. Okay, so now the question comes here next, what happens when the F1 generation progeny obtained above are used to produce progeny of self-pollination? Now when they will again crossbreed, okay, so now when these will again crossbreed, what will happen? So now this T for the F2 generation, this for F1 gen. Okay, So for the F2 generation, it is T and T, and then R and R. We will take any two pair, and then next is T and small t, R and R. Okay, then it will again forms gamete. It will be TR, and it will form gamete with this. It will be TR, and then it will okay, like this. Now when it will link with this, then it will link with this TR and then TR. So we can see capital T and capital R, capital T and small r, small t and capital R, small t and small r. And so here also capital T and capital R, capital T and small r, small t and capital R, and capital R and small t and small r. I hope you understand this. Okay, now then we have to make a Punnett square. It's very easy to make a Punnett square. Now these are the gametes. Okay, so now when we'll make a Punnett square, it will be like this. We'll write all the gametes, like from the upper side and from the here. So TR, then it will be first T small r, small t and capital R, and small t and small r. So likewise here also capital T and capital R. Okay, then capital T and small r, then here it's small t and capital R, and next is small t and small r. Okay, so now what will happen, it will be capital T and R and R. It will be capital T and capital D and capital R and R. So you can make this by your own. It's very simple. So we can see here that few plants will be having the characters from their parents, and few will be having their own character. That means there will be 4 types of progeny. 2 will have traits like parents, and the other 2 will have a new combination of trait. So some F2 progeny will be tall plants with round seeds, tall plants with round seeds, and tall plants with round seeds, but there will be some like this T and this T. So it will be if we'll see here, it will be small t and small r. So some will be having short plant with round seeds, and some will be having short plant with wrinkled seed as well. Sorry, this is a short plant with wrinkled seeds. Okay, so we will have 4 types of progeny. So this is how to solve the question. I think this is very easy. You can do by your own. If you have problem, I will tell you once again. So do let me know that. Okay. So now since this has done, it was a question of a previous lecture which I've given as a homework. Let's move to the next topic of today's, which is how do these traits get expressed? Like when this experiment or inheritance hybrid this was done. So that time the Mendel's work which he did was it's very special thing, because that time there was no knowledge of DNA, chromosomes and genes were available. So it was a very important thing. But now we know that genes are responsible for the characteristic features of an offspring of any plants and animals, and the characteristics or traits of parent are transmitted to the offspring through genes which are present on the chromosomes. Now because we know that there are chromosomes in the nucleus, and chromosomes have DNA, and DNA has a special sequence of genes which are responsible for some characters. So they are transferred from parent to the offspring by the sexual reproduction. So genes work in pair. We know that genes work in pair, And these pair of genes of each characters of an organism has two types of genes. So one is the dominant gene and one is the recessive gene. Okay, so the dominant gene will show the characters and recessive gene will not show the character, but somehow in the next generation, F2 generation, they can show the characters as well. So each parent possess a pair of genes. Okay, a pair of genes of each character, and these are uh, on the pair of chromosomes. So now each parent pass only one or two genes of the pair of each character. Either like we have seen here, the plant is tall or the plant is short. So two characters, at least two characters, are transferred in one time to the progeny through the gametes. So the male gametes and the female gametes, they carry one gene for the characteristics from the gene pair of the parent, which is located in the pair of chromosomes. Now if you see the chromosomes, okay, so in the chromosomes there will be DNA, like a portion of DNA. In the DNA there will be a special sequencing which shows which is a special sequence for some character, and that we call as a gene. So like this is a gene of tallness, T, and the other will be having a gene of shortness. There will be many genes. So this is the gene of dwarfness. Okay, so these are different genes. So since these are different, because this is gene of tallness and this is gene of dwarfness, but these are same genes because these genes are responsible for height. Okay, so when there is a fertilization and the fusion of male and female gametes, so during that time a new cell is formed which is called a zygote. We all know that. So in that there is a full set of genes. So because half of the chromosomes are taken from the mother and half are taken from the father. Okay, so by that half and half it becomes a full number of set of chromosomes. So this zygote grows and develops to form a new organism having new characteristics from both the parents, which it has inherited from the genes. Okay, so the two genes or a pair of genes, because two genes are because one from the father and one from the mother, are responsible for a particular characteristics. Now if a father is having a tall gene and mother is having a short gene of dwarfness, so maybe the dominant is tallness, the parents will the children will be tall. Okay, but then in the next it can be 50-50. But if the parent has a gene of like this T and T, and mother is having like gene of T, and if this T combines with this T, then it will be a short child will have a short height. Okay, so the two genes of the same characteristics are present in the corresponding positions of a pair of chromosomes. Okay, so one gene of the pair is of tallness, like in case of plant, and for tallness, and the other is for dwarfness. So because the progeny inherits two genes or a pair of genes for each trait from its parent, but the trait shows by the progeny depends on which inherited gene is dominant of the two. Clear? Like example, a pea plant's progeny inherits a gene of tallness from one parent and a gene of dwarfness from the other parent. Then it will show the trait of tallness, and the dwarfness will become the recessive gene. Okay, so because the tallness is the dominant over the gene of dwarfness, so although the gene of dwarfness is present on the plant, but the first generation will show the tallness. So the hybrid plant, the next generation, will show the effect. Okay, so if both the parents pass on one copy of each of the recessive gene of dwarfness, like if both will be having a T and T, so making the genotype TT, so it will be TT. So the trait of dwarfness will appear in the progeny plant. So the gene of tallness and dwarfness are not to be considered as the different feature, but they are the same feature of two different features of same gene, which controls only one characteristic feature of a plant, that is length of its stem. But there can be increase in length of stem making the plant tall, or decrease in the length of stem making the plant dwarf. So how do these genes control the characteristic of traits? Now, a gene is a section of a DNA, like this is a DNA. So a gene is a section of a DNA on a chromosome which codes for the formation of protein, because we know that protein is the main thing, like our body cell. It's the RNA which gives the signals that what type of protein to make, because RNA makes the protein. So if the RNA is signaling that okay, make a protein of a make a protein which is long, so the that character will be long. Like if we have a soft skin, so we will all the cells, if we live in a water, so our skin will be slippery, and if we live in a dry condition, our skin will be hard and scaly. So that information is sent by the RNA to make protein, because RNA make the protein. So the formation of protein controls a specific characters or trait of organism. Suppose a plant progeny has a gene of characteristic of tallness. So the gene of tallness will give instructions to the plant cell to make a lot of plant hormone, and due to the formation of excessive plant growth hormone, the plant will grow much and hence it will become tall. On the other hand, if a plant has a gene set of dwarfness, then a less plant hormone will be produced, due to which the plant will grow less and remain short, and then the plant will be dwarf. So the plant, the characteristics or trait in the animal, including human beings, are also transmitted from the parents to through the genes of the process of sexual reproduction. Like if we have a phenotype of black hair, so a black hair is this H, stands for black hair, and small h stands for blonde hair. Okay, so the black hair phenotype is HH, and the or it can also be like H and H, because here, so this capital H is a dominant gene, so it will be black. So black is dominant, and this small h is a recessive, so it will be a blonde hair. So in this, a mother has a black hair, okay, and father has blonde hair. Okay, so what will be the color of the child hair? So the child will definitely have black hair, because here the transmission of genes of hair color from mother to father is like mother contains two genes, okay, of HH of for the black hair, and both of them are the dominant genes. Or the father cells will be having small HH, which is a blonde hair, so these are the recessive genes, and this is a dominant gene. So the father cells contain recessive genes. The father has blonde hair. Now during the process of reproduction, the mother transmits one of the dominant gene. This gene will be transmitted. So if it will be HH, it will be black hair. If it will be H and H, again it will be a black hair. This again will be a black hair. So since we see every this and this H, capital, so because capital H is there in every in every generation, in every child. So because H, that is black color, is a dominant color, so the child in every case will have black hairs. So the child has a gene HH for their hair, and gene H is the dominant gene. So the blonde hair is having a recessive gene. So dominant gene which capital H will dominate for the black color. Now that is why black is the dominant gene and the blonde is a recessive gene. Okay, so again, if we'll read this in the kind of a blood group. Okay, so this blood group, it's like we have A blood group, B blood group, and AB blood group and O blood group. So they have an alleles of like A is represented by IA, and B with IB, and O with IO, and this AB can be a mixture of both A and B. Okay, so now here these are the dominant and this is a recessive gene. So if the genotype is of like IA and IA and IA, okay, so then the blood group will be of person will be A. If the genotype is IB and IB, the blood group will be B. If the genotype is IA and IB, these are the co-dominant genes, that means they will dominate each other, so the blood group will be AB. But if the genotype is IO and IO only, then the blood group will be O. Okay, so if I've given you a question a few days back that this IO is a recessive gene and IA and IB, they don't show any dominance over each other, that means they are co-dominant. Okay, so if a man is having a blood group A and he marries blood group A and he marries a woman having blood group B, okay, so what will be the blood group of a child? So let's say man and wife, they will be having a blood group A, so man's gene combination will be IA and IA, and the other or it can be like IA or IO. Okay, so because IO, that also means it's a dominant gene, and wife will having a combination of IO and IO. Okay, so if in this case, obviously the child will be having blood group A, because here IA is the dominant gene, so it will dominate O. Okay, but if man will be having this, so here it will be 50-50 chance of either a child having blood group A or a blood group O, because if it will link with this, it will form IA, but if it will be present, so it will be sometimes IO and IO. So in this case, both the recessive gene will show the character and the offspring will have a blood group of O. Okay, the same thing happens in the sex determination of a male and a female. That is very simple, but that topic, because this is I think clear, but I want to take this topic again. So this sex determination is very easy. You have been doing this since your class 8, so it won't take much time, but the lecture is being so long, so I'll cut here. So this sex determination will take in the other lecture. Along with this, I'll explain you this again. If you will have problem, only then. Otherwise, we are only left with one topic, which is sex determination, and after that, chapter will be completed. So we'll be doing it in our next lecture. Okay. So till then, do your work and study hard and take care. Thank you.